we're going to win. And we're going to win a championship.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another episode of StarChasers, Girls Talk Ball. As you guys already know, it's your girl, Craving Cowboys. And as always, I got my sis, Stargazer Sports, in the building. How you doing tonight, sis?
Doing good. What's up to everybody in the chat? Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We had planned to do this show time, just doing our normal Star Chasers Girls Talk Ball show, but we decided not to do that today. Because of course, if you see the video title and you see the thumbnail, you know that Dallas Cowboys defensive end Marshawn Kneeland has passed away. And so in honor of him, we decided just to do like a quick little show talking about like Marshawn's life and not really talking football today. Of course, we'll get back to football tomorrow, next week. But we didn't really want to come on here talking about football when a young man has lost his life, is only 24 years old. So but I would ask y'all to please like the video, please like the stream, please share, please subscribe, because like I said, we're also going to be sharing, I'll share my story of going through suicidal ideation and be a little bit transparent of things that I'm going through right now, and try to give you guys some tools for mental health and trying to navigate this thing we call life. And shout out to the Big Time Show, great content creator that is in the chat. Really appreciate you. But yeah, life is what people say, life be lifing. Life gets really hard sometimes, and you really feel like you want to throw in the towel. But it's never the answer to take your own life, and you're never alone. You know what I'm saying? And but anyway, just talking about I don't know if you had something to say, sis.
No, I think that's a perfect way to, like you said, start the show. I mean, like you said, life really does make you feel like we were just talking about before we hopped on. Like, a lot of things can happen all at once in your life, or even if you just feel like you're just going through one thing, or you feel like it can be the opposite. Like sometimes you feel like nothing's going. You're like, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do? How can I, kickstart something to me, or bring a spark to my life? And then there's also the other end where you feel like you're just consumed with everything. Like Star was talking about. I'm sure everyone has a point in their life where they do go through, certain periods, maybe more than once, or maybe just once, or maybe just have when you're, maybe it can happen when you're older, it can happen when you're younger, it can, like you just never know when it can hit you. And like Star said, it's definitely important to, have a circle, whether it's a big circle, a small circle, whether it's one person. Like sometimes you just need a person to talk to, whether it doesn't necessarily always have to be a therapist. It can be a best friend, a stranger, maybe that you happen to see on the street, and you could just like sometimes they say, sometimes God brings people in your life for a reason or for a reason. Sometimes that could just be 5 minutes on the street, or you're waiting for the bus, or, you're waiting for something. You spend 5 minutes talking to a stranger on the street, and, you're standing in the line, you're standing in the same line at the pharmacy. Oh man, they're taking forever. So you just happen to have a conversation. That's the way, those two people link. They could be strangers, but they just had that for that 5 minutes, that one thing in common. Even that can be considered, a way to reach out to someone, and that can be a sense of therapy. If you guys, that could be a sense of a way to someone to reach out, and even just after having a quick conversation, that can make them feel better. So yeah, it's life can hit, in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, with this news, I was telling Star before we hopped on, like it's wild, because just Marshawn Kneeland's personality, at least what I've seen just with my eyes, he seemed like he was always smiling, always happy, laughing, talking about, post games, or talking about things he could have done better. But even when he spoke on things, he felt like he can improve on, it was still with a light spirit, like, hey,
Right.
I mean, I think there was an interview I think he did with Nicole Hutchinson where he spoke about, I think, improving his get off the line, but he was like, hey, I'm always taking something positive from a game, even if I have a negative game, I'm taking something positive, like, hey, I made that guy, sore after the game, or hey, I spoke to the guy afterwards, and he was like, hey man, I'm gonna need to schedule some spa sessions, just because we played so tough, what I mean. So just he always took something positive from his game, and I just really just like I said, like I mentioned earlier, you just never really know what someone's really going through, but I just love that he always did kind of evoke just a positive spirit, just how he took his game, and also just being on the Dallas Cowboys.
I agree 100%. And just to a lot of people have just posted. I mean, this is crazy. This is a kid we just drafted last year. And I remember a lot of people were shocked. Let me see if I can pull this up. How you doing, Lee Harrison?
Appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for everybody in the chat, but
journey has been
I'll mute it because we don't need to hear volume. But this is a kid that we just drafted last year, and such promise. I remember, in the combine, and they were talking about, all the draft gurus like Dame Brugler and all of them was saying, like, man, this kid's testing, like, he pretty much tested off the charts, and I mean that's why we picked him so high, and the only reason why he wasn't probably seen as like a first round pick was because of the school, but still we still thought a lot of him because we picked him at the second round, which is still a pretty premium pick. And looking at him, I agree with you, sis. It's like every single time I saw Marshawn, I'm like, he is so goofy. Like, he's always laughing,
you feel
always
me?
like just very like he always felt like so joyful and with a very high spirit. But this is why sometimes, a lot of times, people can put on this face. You know what I'm saying? They can put on this face as I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say that they say a lot of times comedians end up taking their own life. You know what I'm saying? Someone like Robin Williams took his own life. You know what I'm saying? And it's. You wouldn't think that somebody
lonely.
You wouldn't think
it's like a lonely profession,
Right. And you wouldn't think that somebody like Robin Williams, a comedian, a guy who had a famous quote literally saying, that suicide's not the answer, and then end up taking his own life. So you know what I'm saying? And these are just clips from his draft night and his family. But it shows that sometimes when you see that clip and you see all the support he had, all those people there that love him, and his mom, I think that's probably a picture of his mom. She passed last year, and
he said he found out actually that weekend at the combine. He said he didn't even expect the news. He said he was sitting down expecting just to hear maybe just some, I think it was his aunt who called him, said he just expected her to say that, she couldn't make it to the game, or she couldn't make it to a practice. But he said he was, essentially leveled. He was leveled when he found out the news, and just like I mean, you mentioned, for it to be so recent.
Exactly, like that was so recent, and it's like I found out. Imagine just finding out that you just lost your mom just out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Not like, oh, she was sick, so you had time to prepare. But those are the worst types of deaths, when it's just instant. It's just like out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And we can only imagine what Marshawn's family is feeling, what the locker room is feeling, because these are people who just talked to him yesterday. They just saw him 2 days ago. They just talked to him 3 days ago. They just talked to him a couple of hours ago, and now he's gone. And then to find out he's gone because of alleged gunshot wound to himself, like that is one of the most tragic things that a person could ever hear. But all in all, we want to say, we don't want to do like a super long show. We just wanted to come on here and encourage you guys. And I'll be transparent. I really have struggled in the past. I struggled with depression. I've struggled with suicidal ideation. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, I was a kid that had a very, very low very, very low self-esteem. And it came to a point when I ended up going to college, and when you go to college, you're kind of isolated away from your family, but you be excited first to be away from your family until you get away from your family, and then you feel what it's like to I'm in a totally different environment. And I ended up
and do things on your own and spend your money and manage your money, and while also at the same time managing, work,
manage your life. Period. Right, exactly.
It's like when they say it's really a preview to life, they're right. Like when you see it as you grow, you're like, wow,
exactly, because
like
you go off
microcosm.
Right, you go off on your own at 18 years old, and you've got to now make the decisions. You've got to now have the discernment of who should I be friends with, who should I not be. You now got to make the decisions, getting up, going to class. You also have to get you a job, because you don't live in mom and daddy house no more. So if you won't, even though my parents, they would give me a little allowance here and there, but it's like, if you want money to really be able to do anything, you're going to have to get a job. So it's just so much that, went on. And I went to a predominantly white institute. They call them PWIs, and in Belton, Texas, which is an extremely red and racist area. And so experiencing that really put me in a severe depression, you know what I'm saying, and isolation. And I remember just telling my parents, like, listen, I'm not doing well, you know what I'm saying, like, I need help. Support. And, my mom ended up coming up there and visiting me and helping me. And, I did start getting into counseling and things like that, because I knew I needed help. Like, I knew I couldn't try to shoulder all the pressure and everything that I was going through on my own. And, even now I'm going through something, I ain't gonna put my business out on the street, but even now I'm going through something. And, where it has really, even as recent as yesterday, I had a breakdown. I know y'all see me being funny and stuff online, but behind closed doors, like, it can get dark. It can get real tough sometimes. And, thank God, for my partner and my fiance. Thank God for my friends and, my family. And I'm glad that you said, and you talked about a confidant, or that you don't always have to go to, counseling. I encourage everybody to go to counseling, but some people believe that counseling is not for them. But that's why you do need a support system. You do need a best friend, or as I call my best friend, my confidant, because we really do have that open relationship where we can talk about anything. There's no limit of what we can talk about. We know we can call each other immediately if we're feeling low, and we will drop everything and be there for one another. And that's the type of support you need. And I'll even, a guy in our content creator community, Boss Cowboy, that and shout out to Boss reached 10,000 subscribers today. I've been wanting him to be that years ago, so he finally reached that. We're so happy for him. But shout out to Boss.
Congratulations, Boss.
Boss, who's like a friend / mentor to me. And when he found out I was dealing with depression recently, he called me and gave me some tips and told me what to do. And I think it's very important. And since you had a list that you kind of wanted to pull up, but some good notes of what to do if you're going through mental health issues is, one, talk to people that have also gone through mental health issues, that have also experienced depression or grief or extreme sadness. You want to talk to those people, because people who've never really dealt with mental health issues, it's very hard for them to relate to exactly what you're going through. And a lot of times they will just tell you, you just got to keep going, or, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Or, and if you talk to that person, they could trigger you and put you in a bad mindset. So you really got to be careful about who you talk to. But also,
And also,
go ahead, sis.
Just to kind of piggyback off that, I mean, like we mentioned earlier, not necessarily always having to talk to like a therapist, like, because I've kind of experienced both. Like, there was one time I did talk to someone like who was in, was actually a therapist, but it was kind of like work related, because it was like a work related incident where I felt like my boss was like targeting me. So I used like the system they cut that where I don't know if you heard of EAP, where they offer that assistant. Maybe there's someone they kind of direct you and use a kind of give you tools, like point you in the direction of maybe someone to talk to, or maybe just tools that you could use to kind of get through, maybe get over that hump, or maybe get through those feelings that you do feel like. So, and I feel like I did, try just the one session that they do offer for free. And I was like, it did feel freeing talking to that person, but sometimes you feel like maybe they say they understand, or you just feel like maybe they don't have the same background, or maybe they don't feel like they've been through maybe what you've been through. So they can say they understand, they can even say all the right things, but sometimes you can kind of look at the person and maybe just feel like they're just saying those things because they feel like it's the right thing to say. You can still kind of have that disconnect. So at least for me, make sure you find that person who you feel like, I think there was a short that Law posted the other day, which really, hit home for me. And really, I think is a great statement he made. Pretty much, long story short, it says like, if someone feels for you, if you're affected by something, they should be able to react to how you're feeling. So make sure you find someone that, that you can see that feels, not saying necessarily feels your pain, but someone who is showing empathy, or someone maybe who can empathize with you, because that's how you feel like, number one, that I think in my opinion, that first initial connection. And then that way that kind of gives the person maybe a little bit more freeing energy to feel like they can kind of, kind of explain or maybe kind of delve into what they are feeling.
Absolutely. And so talking to someone, you know what I'm saying? Like, whether it's a therapist, you know what I'm saying? Or even now, I personally don't have a therapist, but I'm working on getting one, because my best friend is a therapist, and she's like, you need to be a therapist. But again, you gotta have somebody that you can lean on and talk to. And I always say this is why I do advocate for people to seek out therapy, because when you confide in your best friends or your partners or your mom and dad or whatever, whenever you confide in them, you got to realize as well, they only have so much capacity for your problems, because they have their own problems.
Right.
And that's what we have to remember. Like, your mama, she gonna be there for you. She love you. Your daddy, he gonna be there. Your sister, your brother, your cousin, your best friend. But at the end of the day, they're not mental health professionals, and there's only so much that they can do. And you've got to watch always, bringing negativity to somebody, because that then can bring them down and then put them in a depression or put them in a deep sadness or anxiety and things like that. So you really do have to be careful.
Or trigger a negative response from them back to you.
Exactly.
Better, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So you really do have to be careful. And that's why it is best to talk to a professional, because a professional they don't have that emotional tie to you. You know what I'm saying? And it's their job to deal with your problems. Right. Yeah. It's their job to do that, compared to a family member where it's not their job. They have a job. They have their own family. They have their own issues that they're going through. So that's something to remember. But also self-care. Take care of yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure, you're eating the right things. Exercise really, really helps. When I went through my last depressive state, you know what I'm saying, I hadn't been out of the bed in days, and my fiance was like, babe, you need to get up, go work out, because just working out,
those endorphins
will make you feel better. They will make you feel better.
Even just walking around the neighborhood, y'all, just saying, just getting up and moving. I know there's times, even just getting older, at least for me, I notice I'm just taking my dog around the corner for a walk, and I'm like, you know what, I feel like I get up, I don't want to go to work, I feel like stiff, but I just go for that, even a 10-15 minute walk, I'm ready to go. I'm kind of, up and at at that point, you know what I mean? So sometimes even just a 10-15 minute walk, y'all, just even just getting some fresh air.
Just some fresh air. Go outside. You need the sun. Shout out to my $100,000 and Brandy. Really appreciate y'all being here. He said you have to want to get better. That's true. Yeah. That's very important. Even though it's hard, that's true. And that's why I posted on my page today. I was like, listen, I'm going through something, but Suicide is never the answer, no matter what you're going through. That is not the answer. And I know that, you know what I'm saying, that is not the answer. But sometimes you may know it's not the answer, but you just still going through. But that's why you got to take these steps. Like Sis said, you go work out, or just go on a walk, or just sit outside.
Right.
Just go sit in the sun. The sun, literally, putting yourself in the sun ignites something in you and will instantly make you feel better. Because the sun is our life force here on earth. So it's just something about you step out in the sun, you feel better. That's why people who are depressed, they don't want to go out in the sun. They want to stay in the darkness. But we're not meant to be in the darkness. You know what I'm saying? We're not meant to stay in the darkness. We need the light. And so doing that, but also making sure, like, eating things that can really help you, help your mental health, what they call like brain food. So, you know,
and sleep, guys.
Sleep,
because I don't get enough sleep, but please
rest
sleep.
and sleep. That's the big one, sis.
Yes,
rest and sleep is a huge one, because in life, especially, you just keep going. You got this, you got that, you got work, it's just so much. You know what I'm saying? Extracurricular, you got exactly. Yes. And it feels like you got to keep going. But if you're not getting your proper rest, it is going to affect the way your brain works. Period. You have to get the right amount of sleep. You have to get rest. Don't listen to these dumbass billionaires and millionaires that tell you, you know, you can't sleep if you want to do this. You have to sleep, and they are sleeping. They are sleeping. Exactly. So don't believe their life is. Don't believe these people, because a lot of these millionaires and billionaires, they put out all this stuff, teaching it to the middle class or to the poor. They putting out stuff that they not even doing themselves. Is what I'm saying. So it's like, life is too short to just be working nonstop. You need a rest. You need a vacation. You literally need it for your mental health. Even if you can't afford a vacation, go to the park, go to the pool, go somewhere, do something to where it's not just work 24/7. Because we're not meant to be on this earth working 24/7. That is not what God created us to be doing. God didn't create us to just be doing work nonstop. Even God himself. Right. So we have to rest. We have to rest. We have to sleep. I would encourage people to get into meditation if you can. Meditation is something that's really have taken my life and my mental health up. So you really want to meditation, listening, just sitting and being. Not on social media, not looking at work emails, not dealing with your mama's texts and your daddy's calls and all of this stuff. Like literally just sitting in silence and being for 30. If you can do it, 15 to 30 minutes would be great. You know what I'm saying? And that's right here, daily practice, yoga, meditation, because meditation, yoga, all of that helps you clear your mind, helps you center yourself, right? Helps you prepare yourself for the day. If you're a religious person, we're not all religious, but if you are a religious person, praying, right? Praying in the morning, talking to your God, whoever your God is, talking to your God, asking your God for help and guidance, right? And also what I call daily affirmations. What is daily affirmations? Affirmations saying, I am love, I am peace, I am healthy, right? I have everything that I need. Today I will have a good day. I am loved. You know, saying those things, and you just keep saying those things. Go ahead.
Already had the love in me, or
exactly. I have the love. I have everything I need. You know what I'm saying? I have the love. You know, if you struggling with self-esteem, I am beautiful. When I was a child and I had bad self-esteem, I would meditate on the scripture, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. So it's like, if there's anything, but it doesn't have to be in the Christian Bible. Obviously, you might have Buddhists in here, Muslims, whatever you need to do that can help you feel at peace and feel comfort, that's what you should be doing. And you want to make sure As it's a big time said, speak over yourself. Exactly. You want to
Yeah,
encourage yourself. You want to affirm yourself.
yeah.
And
Or speak, like you mentioned, speak to God, or speak to, if you guys have a spirit that you like to connect with, like you said, just spend that 5-10 minutes, or like you said, just spend that silent time with yourself. Will not only slow your
exactly.
mind down, it will slow, also it can sometimes slow your heartbeat down to where it kind of
Right.
forces you to rest. It kind of just forces your body to come to a slow
It
stop,
come to
not
a
a stop,
slow
but
point.
like a
Right.
slow, like a slow, like steady pace, to where you can literally feel
Exactly.
yourself slow down, and not that you'll feel like slow or sluggish, but it kind of gets you to calm down, like kind of getting yourself to a calm, like level. I would just say a calm level state, I would say, you know what I'm saying? Or
Exactly. Exactly, sis. And
right. And I would, just to
doing
kind of,
meditation also listen to meditation music.
yes, I was just gonna
as
say,
you're
right.
as you're meditating, as you're praying, listen to that music, because the sounds and things like that will really help your spirit settle down,
Yeah.
right, and get in the right mood and get in the right mode. Because sometimes it's difficult to pray or meditate in silence, because when you pray and meditate in silence, then you can hear everything, you know what I'm saying? And the
Yeah.
music literally helps you zone out, helps you get into yourself and
Right.
block out all the outside noise. So that's what you really want to do, be able to block out all outside noise and distractions, to
Right.
where you can go within and really sit with yourself, really sit with your God, and uh think about, process, your peace, and
Right.
think about, goodness coming to you, and
Right.
love coming to you, and hope, and all of those things, opposed to the dark thoughts that we can all get
Right. And
sometimes.
just to kind of piggyback up that, like you said, kind of blocking out all the noise, like make sure you guys find I don't want to say a time slot, but find a time for yourself where you're not gonna, your next responsibility is gonna have to be getting up and going again, or maybe trying to find a space where you had that allotted time, like maybe an hour, or maybe use 30 minutes of that hour. If you have a lunch break, maybe use 20 to 30 minutes of that hour, and that way that's the rest of the time to kind of get yourself ready back for work. But trying to find a good time, that way you're not having to rush to the next thing. That way you can put your full focus on that time, so that way you're actually giving your mind that chance to rest. That way you're not just, okay, let me just do this 5-minute meditation, let me get back to my work. No, it's about actually taking that time to make sure you're not having to worry about, and your kids, not having to worry about your wife or your spouse, not having to worry about your brother, your sister, not having to worry about your coworker, not having to worry about your phone ringing off the hook, not having to worry about, someone hitting you up on a work matter. No, if you have to, put your phone on silent. If you have to, put your computer on silent. Just trying to find that, even if your only time you have to yourself is that lunch break in the middle of the day, fine. You can just use 10 minutes of that 60-minute lunch break, 30-minute lunch break, whatever, and just know, okay, these 10 minutes are mine. I'm going to dedicate this time to myself. Fine, give
Facts.
yourself something. Give yourself that time. If you feel like you're not getting that time, okay, give it to yourself. Tell your boss, hey, I'm going to be a little bit 5 minutes late. Okay, I'm going to give myself that 5 minutes because you feel like you need it. Like, don't let anyone make you feel like you don't need that 5 minutes, because
Right, you don't have
it
time
is
for that.
yours.
You always have time for yourself. You gotta put yourself first.
Right.
And a lot of times in life, people say, no, you don't put yourself first. You put God first. You put others first. No, you put yourself first.
Correct.
And why do you put yourself first? Because you can only help others if you yourself are good and whole. You cannot pour out to somebody what you don't have. You know what I'm saying? So you have to,
Yeah.
you can't function and do your job if you're not good. You cannot be a good mom or a good husband or a good pastor or a good whatever, lawyer or therapist or grocery store or truck driver. You can't be the best
Right.
that you can be if you're not taking care of yourself. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of no one else. This is why Jesus said, love one another as you love yourself.
Exactly.
You cannot love others. You cannot help others if you yourself is broken. If you yourself is not healthy. You literally can't. And if you're trying to help somebody while you're not healthy, that's going to seep out to that person as well. Right. So this is why you have to. I've seen so many people pass on, physically and mentally because they've just taken on so much and they don't even know themselves. People don't even know themselves at 50 and 60 years old because they don't take care of themselves. I got to take care of my kids. I got to take care of my husband. I got to take care of the church. You know, I'm a PK kid. So, you know, I got to take care of the church. I got to take care of the members. I got to do this. I got to do that. But what about yourself? What to means you doing all of that, but then what happens when you have a stroke or a heart attack or a panic attack or an anxiety attack? Then you can't help those people. Now you in the hospital fighting for your very life. So this is why you've got to take care of yourself. You got to love others, right, as you love yourself, right? And the only way you receive the love of God as well when you love yourself. You don't love yourself, you can't receive the love of God. Because if you feel like crap about yourself, then how you expect God to feel about you? Like your own self-view affects how you see everything. It really does. And I would encourage people. There's a guy, his name, because I was talking about meditation. His name is Londrelle, Londrelle. Londrelle, and he does like meditation and spiritual music and things like that. I'll put it here. He has meditations. It's called Self-Care Package. I hope y'all can see that. Okay. But Self-Care Package, I would encourage y'all to look into him because these are like guided meditations. Because you might be like, Star, I don't know what I'm supposed to do for meditation. We'll do these guided meditations with him where he really helps you learn how to properly meditate, how to properly do self-affirmations and things like that. And then just to go over with y'all, you know, foods that you can eat to help your mental health. Kind of wrap up with this. But foods you can eat: salmon and other fatty fish. So salmon, mackerel, tuna, herring, sardines, right? Those are great foods for mental health. So you want to eat those foods. Chicken, lean proteins, right? They produce serotonin. That's that feel-good neurotransmitter, right? Whole grains, so oats. I eat oats every single day. But oats, quinoa, brown rice, those are things that you want to eat. And they also help your brain, your body, your blood pressure. Avocados. I eat a lot of avocados, but those help. It says reduce inflammation. They contribute to brain health.
And sis, look at for number 3. Check out that last line where it says, if you eat whole grains with turkey or chicken, says your patients set their brains up for better success in reducing depression and anxiety symptoms.
Right. Yeah, right here. So when you're eating whole grains with turkey or chicken, your patients set their brains up for better success in reducing depression and anxiety symptoms, just like sis said. So go and get you some whole grains. I know we all love a good fast food, but you can't be eating that shit every day.
Right.
You can't be eating that crap every day. You can't be eating chips and candy and stuff every day, pizza every day. That's not going to help your body function. That's not going to help put you in the best mood. Avocados says a nutrient powerhouse, right? With healthy fats, fibers, and nearly 20 vitamins that contribute to brain health. They help regulate neurotransmitters and reduce inflammation, which makes them a prime example of a food for good mental health. And they contain high amounts of lutein, which have been linked to having positive brain impacts.
Okay.
Helps with memory, improves mood, helps with memory and concentration. Leafy greens, so that's spinach, kale, Swiss chard, right? They've been linked to it said low folate levels have been linked to depression, and so these things have high folate, right? So they're going to help be the opposite, of depression. It says they improve mood and reduce risk of dementia.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so then we also have yogurt and other fermented foods. Yogurt, kefir, says they promote healthy gut. And a healthy gut, they said, is directly linked to mood. I know that because I got my own gut issues.
Yeah.
Right. Brain function. Right. So you really
Right.
need, if you get into yogurts or other fermented foods,
Yeah.
I think
I would think bananas too. I think I've heard that bananas kind of help with, with memory and also mental health as well. I think memory.
Yeah, I've heard that too. Bananas definitely will help. Nuts and seeds, almonds and walnuts, cashews, chia seeds.
Oh, nice.
All of those will help lower your depression symptoms. They support brain function. Berries, so blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, all of those will help you. If you're like, okay, I don't like eating those raw, try them in a smoothie.
I'm right.
You can put all of these. You can put greens, yogurt,
exactly,
nuts and berries all in a smoothie. Blend it up. Blend it up. If you don't like eating it individually, tomatoes, great for you. You know what I'm saying? Reduce inflammation, improve your brain function.
I've heard they help with eyesight too. Tomatoes. I've heard they.
Yeah, eyesight. Let me see. Do I have it? It says it helps with memory and logic. I don't know if I see. It says produce dopamine, serotonin. That might help a little bit with eyesight. I know carrots do for sure. But yeah, tomatoes. So start putting some tomatoes inside of your meal, or tomato sauce or something like that. Right, your salad. That's right, sis. You know what I'm saying? Try that, but also dark chocolate. I also put dark chocolate in my oats, but dark chocolate is great for you. Improves circulation, brain health, lowers your stress.
And I don't even think you need a lot. I think maybe even like half of a bar, or maybe I don't think you need like a whole, a lot.
Exactly, just a little bit is what you need. Just probably have like a couple little like those little dark chocolate Hershey Kisses.
Yeah, like
have just a couple sprinkle of those.
Exactly.
In my oats, I put y'all should try this, but in my oats, I put oats, dark chocolate, cranberries. I also put peanut butter, and I put milk. But I don't drink lactose milk. I only drink lactose-free milk. So
no, I think I drink Silk. I don't even like
you don't even like. But you can use milk, or if you don't like milk, you can use if you like milk from cows, you can use coconut milk. Some people use yogurt to do like what they call overnight oats. It's a great meal that you eat in the morning, gets you great fresh in the mood, and also it helps me a ton because I go work out in the morning, and so it really gives me the energy I need to go work out.
Yeah,
and I know
it's not too heavy.
Exactly. It's just fiber, so it's not too heavy. It goes through the other end easily.
Right.
And it really burns. Like I'm telling you, it gives you, and I can tell the difference. Like if I don't have oats, I'm like, okay, I guess let me just eat some cereal or whatever. It's a totally different ballpark between how I feel when I ate my oats to how I feel when I ate a Belvita bar of cereal. Like my body feels totally different. So just want to encourage y'all. Thank you. Swain came in late. Thank you. Love you too, Swain. Thank you. And we love everybody in the chat. Thank y'all so much. But yeah, guys, please take care of yourself. And now, we'll do a prayer for Marshawn Kneeland, his family in the locker room. Say, Lord, we thank you for this day. We just want to send prayers right now to Marshawn Kneeland's family, his girlfriend. God, I mean, this is a terrible tragedy, but we just pray that you send that. We want to send peace to the family. We want to send love to the family. We want to send hope to the family. We want to send grace to his family and friends, God. And we also want to send that same thing to the locker room, God. This is a brother that has been lost in the locker room. And I can only imagine what they're going through, God. But we pray that you bring peace, you bring clarity, you bring love, and you bring hope to everybody that's involved in Marshawn's life. And we want to use Marshawn's life just as an extension to everybody, God, who's listening to this show. That God, you would be with us and help us, God. We're going through some tough times, and just in the world, in America, and then the holiday season is coming up, and they say, God, this is this is really when the peak of suicides and all types of stuff start going up, guys. So we pray that none of that stuff would affect us, would affect our families, would affect our friends, and that you would help us get through this day and get through the rest of this year, and that you would be our strength and you would be our guide as we go through these tough times. We thank you in Jesus' name. We pray, amen. But thank you to everybody in the chat, and really appreciate y'all being here. But next week we'll be back to football, but we just did not feel right talking about football today when a young man has lost his life in the way that it happened. So we felt like we need to come on here and give words of encouragement. But sis, I don't know if you had anything left to say.
I will say I appreciate you saying that prayer, because I definitely, I know we don't know these guys. I know they're public figures, and I know they're, have a favorite football team, but I definitely felt something in my heart today for this young man, because at least in my opinion, you kind of grow up and you kind of see, the younger kids who come after you, and you know other kids his age. So just knowing, like we talked about earlier, just how you kind of progress, and when you mature, as you grow older, that he still had the young mindset. So it's very important that you guys, if you know someone, whether you know someone younger or old, just make sure that you talk about taking care of ourselves, and make sure you try to show that same compassion, towards others as well. Like, we talked, like we said earlier, you never know what anyone's going through, and just always try to, just exhibit human quality. I saw a boss about to go live later on. He says about being, about team human. Like, yes, you just never know what anyone's going through. So, like sis said, just thank you guys for joining us, and like I said, sis, thank you for the prayer, because just having that connectivity with that spirit, it can sometimes just saying a prayer can make you feel a little bit better. And I just hope that, that family, the locker room as well, it's just feels that peace from everybody, from Cowboys Nation.
Exactly. So, and the last thing I would say too is, today did remind us that we do have to be careful how we're talking about these players and what we're saying about them, because I don't think anybody was saying anything, about Marshawn's player or anything recently, or I hadn't seen it, but we just gotta be careful how we talk about these players, because they are human beings. A lot of times we forget people, just because a person's got money and they're famous doesn't mean that they're happy, doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. They're not robots. They are human beings, and we do have to watch the way we speak about people, because you never know. You don't want to be the cause of somebody doing something harmful to themselves. You don't want to be the cause. So we really do have, and I'm not saying, yes, we can critique, but sometimes as fans, we take things a little bit too far. Or a lot of bit. Sometimes we take it a lot of bit too far, and we really got to chill out on that. And today we don't know these people. We do not know these people at all. And today was a reminder. Like, we don't know them, and we don't know what they're going through. So let's be careful with our words, because what the Bible says, the power of life and death is in the tongue. And even, and I'm pretty sure in the Buddhist scriptures and in the Quran, there's something similar, that what you say affects a lot. So we got to be careful with what we are saying out of our mouth. But anyway, y'all have a good night, and we will hope to see y'all next week. Yes, thank you for your time. Thank you for your time, sis. Appreciate you. See you guys next week.